Let me know. I want to know, does this sound like you? You swallow your anger to keep the peace. You've been told it's all in your head. You feel pain, tension, or exhaustion with no clear cause. Your body is in a constant state of stress. You're tired of being told, just think positive, or have you tried gratitude journaling? Just be grateful. If any of this feels familiar, you're in the right place. This is exactly why I created Rage on the Page, because they're not random experiences, they're connected. So today, you'll see how giving your rage a voice on the page can start to change that. You're not alone. I want you to know I was exactly there. I swallowed my rage, I minimized myself, and my body carried the cost. And that's why I'm so passionate about this work, because rage journaling was the turning point that helped me reclaim my voice and my health. Let me share my story so you can see why this works. I am a lifelong journaler, over 35 years of journaling practice. Last time I counted, I had 75 volumes on my shelf. Over the years, it's definitely journaling has become my superpower and a lifeline that has carried me through all the tough times in my life. I'm so I'm a child of immigrants. My parents came from Taiwan, part of the brain drain of the 70s, for graduate school and economic opportunity. Like many of their friends, they stayed in the US and had successful careers. I was born in Michigan, and by the time I was 5, we had settled in a suburb of Baltimore called Cockeysville, Maryland. I was always very studious, very hardworking, detail-oriented, and responsible, just like my parents. Now that I'm a parent, I understand this more. They wanted me to have what they didn't have growing up. Piano lessons, outdoor sports, summer camps, birthday parties. So this led me to being very high achieving and set extremely high standards for myself in everything. And I was the dark side of so much emphasis on getting good grades, going to an Ivy League level college, and choosing a lucrative career was perfectionism, people pleasing, external validation. I was the eldest daughter, the good girl. So I went to law school, passed the California bar, got married, and got a job as a government trial attorney. And I thought I was set for life and that I would retire, with a government pension and just never have to worry about money ever again, right? But by then, um, I was already beginning to show signs of depression and anxiety. This was in my mid to late 20s. All of this was made worse by having an uncaring supervisor and gossipy coworkers, a crushing caseload, and then that's when the pain really started. Before that, I had things like back pain, things that would come and go, but nothing like this. So it started as pain in my neck and a lot of pain and tension down my shoulders that radiated down my arms into my hands. And I would have numbness, tingling, weakness, and pain throughout my forearms and just had trouble using my hands basically. It, we did all our own typing. So I was on a motions team where I was just literally typing briefs all day, every day. And the pain and numbness and weakness was getting so bad that at one point, when I hit rock bottom, it was when my right arm became temporarily paralyzed and I couldn't even put my hand on the mouse anymore to finish my work. I realized this is a toxic work environment. My job was literally killing me. So I took 4 months of leave to focus on my treatments. Little did I know this was just the beginning of the stress pain treatment cycle. I went to all kinds of doctors, the physical rehabilitation doctor, orthopedic surgeon, rheumatologist, neurologist, ophthalmologist. After a massage on my neck that was too aggressive actually caused blurry vision. I A psychologist diagnosed me with major depression. I was shocked. I was in denial. And I tried every treatment, PT, OT, acupuncture, biofeedback, chiropractor, massage, electrical stimulation, trigger point injections. I managed my pain as well as I could at home. I stopped cooking. I stopped playing piano for church. I stopped all physical activity beyond my ADLs. And so I started feeling a little better. So I went back to work on a reduced schedule while attending 5 to 6 appointments per week, including psychotherapy. But soon realized every time I went back to work, my symptoms would flare again, even with accommodations. I was using voice recognition software to type my legal briefs. I had a special chair that a clerk would wheel into the courtroom for me, an insanely heavy mobile desktop setup for my laptop in the courtroom. I had a split keyboard that my coworkers made fun of, a roller mouse. So after about a year of this, I finally hit another rock bottom where I was in court for 5 hours straight one morning and had so much pain. And finally woke up to the realization that no job is worth my health. I retired so I could focus 100% on my recovery. At the ripe old age of 32, I was retired. No more law career. I got busy studying nutrition. I got my whole body healthier. I had 2 healthy babies. And all the while, I still had pain. I still went to my therapies, did my exercises, but I was living in fear. I mean, it was humiliating. I needed help opening a jar of spaghetti sauce. I needed help carrying anything heavier than a gallon of milk. And, I would hold my babies and nurse them despite the symptoms. I was learning that as a mom, you do what you got to do, right? But I couldn't be the mom I wanted to be or the wife I wanted to be. I couldn't take the baby out by myself because the car seat and the stroller were too heavy. I was living a half life, I was a shadow of my former self. I had lost my identity. I used to be so active, so fearless. So then finally, so it's been at this point 10 years, a whole decade into my pain journey. I was having dinner with a friend who also had pain, and I realized that I confided in him. I suspect, at this point, the root cause is emotional. And immediately he said, "You got to read this book, The Mind Body Prescription," a book that many people, as it turned out, before me have read, put into practice, and become free from pain, mostly back pain. So when I read this book, I saw myself on every page. I have the classic pain personality, perfectionist, goodist, people pleaser, conflict avoidant, harboring, swallowing resentment, suppressing all of my rage and anger. I had run the hamster wheel of all the physical treatments, and yet my pain was unresponsive, intractable. And when this book talked about writing lists of all of the sources of rage, it clicked. And it felt like everything in my life was converging. I was primed for this. I had journaled most of my life. I was studious. I was tired of the ineffective treatments, tired of being told it's all in your head, and we've never seen this before, or we can't figure out what's wrong. Tired of feeling unfixable, tired of feeling broken, disabled, like a burden. So I thought, wow, I can sit in a room by myself for free and write my way out of this pain. I'm so in. And so this is my rage journal. And I want to share with you the very first entry that I wrote. This is the day that I had decided I'm going to start this mind-body syndrome journey. June 2nd, 2019. I'm starting it's called TMS because that's the name of the diagnosis, this doctor. But I'm going to call it mind-body syndrome. I'm starting my mind-body syndrome journey today. After over 10 years of chronic pain, I'm daring to hope that the work of Dr. Sarno, plus my effort, will finally achieve what years of appointments, self-medicating with food, TV, and other forms of numbing, and countless dollars spent could never give me. freedom from pain. For the first time in years, I am hopeful. After learning about mind-body syndrome this week, I feel like the treatment approach was tailored for me. I can think and learn and study my way out of this all by myself. The introvert writer in me rejoices. The little girl in me jumps up and down with joy and excitement. This is the right time. I've done all I can to heal within my finite time and energy. I've tried everything I'm comfortable trying. I accept and believe Dr. Sarno easily because the last 10 years have primed me to receive his message, including that my body is much stronger than I know. My health journey, including weight loss and getting certified as a nutritional therapy practitioner, getting pregnant twice and having two beautiful, healthy babies, are undeniable proof of that. Now it's time to train my mind. And so then it began. I started writing down lists of sources of rage, past, present, future, all the way back to childhood, grief and anger, the subconscious, all exist outside of time. And the body remembers, right? The body keeps the score. And by even just a day later, I was already feeling a difference. I wrote down in my journal, I felt a twinge in my thumb while writing yesterday. And I told my brain, really, this is a distraction from my emotions, not to dwell on it. And it went away soon after. I must have written for 2 hours, but didn't get forearm weakness. Crazy. Now the challenge will be finding time to do this every day. I'll call this my anger journal. I hadn't come up with the term rage journaling yet. And this, I'm living proof that Dr. Sarno, his theory is correct, that the brain is so good at keeping you safe because that's its job, right? The brain would rather produce physical pain symptoms than allow you to face the subconscious rage that you have locked away inside. I was finding this to be true. And by about 2 weeks later, I was literally writing to my subconscious. I see you're still causing pain. My neck is tight, my shoulders ache, my arms are weak, my wrists hurt, my back is sore. But I did yoga today for the first time in almost 10 years, and it felt good. I'm not going to let you control me anymore. I'm in charge now, Phasma. I'm in charge. Because, the Star Wars movie The Force Awakens had just come out a couple years before. I'm kicking you out of the driver's seat and I'm taking back the steering wheel. All the warning lights are flashing, alerting me to the dangerous emotions underneath. No more hiding. I'm opening the hood. I'm going down into the basement. You can't hide from me. I will open as many boxes of repressed emotions that it takes to become pain-free again. I will be strong, and you can't stop me. So this is an example of the kind of work that that I did, and I did this, every day over the course of about a month. And by the end of that month, it broke the spell of the pain. And, I still have pain here and there, but I'm not afraid of it anymore. And I may not be 100% pain-free sitting here before you today, but I am free from pain. And so, it's not an exaggeration to say I was healed by rage journaling after being dismissed by doctors. I am a wife and a mother of two girls. So you can see I'm an overthinker, recovering overthinker and perfectionist. And I am the founder of Rage on the Page, guiding women to release their rage, reclaim their voices, and remember who they are, and to feel like themselves again. Did you know that today women account for almost 80% of autoimmune disease cases? So this isn't just my story. Science backs this up. This Time magazine article is titled "Self-Silencing is Making Women Sick." Because why? We've been silencing ourselves for generations. As women, we're socialized from an early age to keep others comfortable, to scan, to read others' emotions, right? We choke back our anger, trying to stay acceptable. Our culture rewards women for being perpetually pleasant, self-sacrificing, and emotionally in control. And it can feel counterintuitive, right, for people to actually learn to say no and to draw boundaries. The fact is that women account for 80% of autoimmune disease cases. They're at a higher risk of suffering from chronic pain, insomnia, fibromyalgia, long COVID, irritable bowel syndrome, migraines. We're twice as likely as men to die after a heart attack. We experience depression, anxiety, and PTSD at twice the rate of men, and face a ninefold higher prevalence of anorexia, the deadliest mental health disorder. So this is all from that article. And I'm saying, I I mean, we need to wake up to this. Women's self-silencing has also been linked to a higher risk of premature death. So I'd like us to think of the body as a pressure cooker. Suppressed anger doesn't disappear. It actually builds. The body stores it. Every time you swallow your anger, minimize yourself, and stay small or hold it together, keep the peace. The steam builds up inside. And when there's nowhere safe to put it, the body becomes the container. And when the pressure has nowhere safe to go, the nervous system often converts it into pain, tension, or illness. It's not just physical pain, right? It could be autoimmune disease. In some cases, extreme cases, maybe even cancer. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that. So rage journaling works because it opens this valve. It it opens and lets out the pressure safely, privately on the page. So why does rage work? This is exactly the mind-body cycle I break down more deeply in my program. But first, I want to talk about, rage is the emotion we're taught to fear, right? So it's the one we repress the hardest. The body stores it the deepest. That's why it fuels so much pain. And other practices may help, therapy, yoga, meditation, and that's nothing against these practices at all. They have their place, but they often only soothe or bypass and filter the very thing that needs expression. So rage journaling is different. It's raw, unfiltered, and safe. No one gets hurt and nothing has to be censored. It's the release valve. And when rage is written out of the body, the pressure drops. And what's left is relief and space to feel like yourself again. And why the page works. So why does writing work versus talking or thinking? So when we talk, we automatically edit ourselves. We tone it down, we make it understandable, we protect relationships to avoid sounding like too much. And then when we think, we loop. The thoughts recycle endlessly without resolution. But writing creates a direct channel from the brain to the hand to the page. It lets the subconscious leak out faster than you can censor it. And that's why the pen outruns the inner critic. And secondly, writing externalizes the internal. So when the emotions stay in your head, they swirl and amplify, right? But writing takes them out of the body and puts them somewhere else to live. The page becomes a container, a safe, silent, and non-judging space. So you don't have to carry it anymore. The journal carries it for you. And thirdly, writing activates the nervous system differently. So writing by hand uses motor function, gives you sensory feedback, and involves language processing. It recruits multiple brain regions, making the release somatic and cognitive at the same time. That's why it feels physically lighter afterward. Not just you don't feel just mentally sorted, you actually feel lighter. So the body literally helps move the emotion out through the pen. And lastly, it creates permanence and perspective. So words on the page stay. They don't just vanish like spoken words. Sending your rage, seeing your rage written down can be shocking and validating or clarifying. And that's definitely true for me. When I went back to read my journal after 6 years, I was shocked at the things I had written. Like I had forgotten some of it. And I think that just goes to show how cathartic it was. So over time, the journal becomes a witnessed archive of what you survived and released. Your journal becomes proof that your voice matters. Your voice not only exists, but it matters. And, rage journaling is private and consequence free. What we're taught while talking can risk judgment, conflict, or shame, and thinking never feels like enough. Writing is the one place that you can burn it after, shred it, or keep it, but no one else ever has to see it. The safest way to tell the truth is to write it down. So, talking filters, thinking recycles, but writing releases. So, this is why rage journaling is at the core of the work I guide women through in my program. But I don't just want you to understand it in your mind. I want you to feel it because the shift happens when pen meets the page. So, who's ready to write? Your rage has a voice. Let's give it space on the page. So, I have 5 prompts for you, 5 journaling prompts for you. Each one is designed to take you deeper, layer by layer, so you can move from what's on the surface into what's been buried. We'll spend about 5 minutes per prompt. That's enough time to get you past your inner censor and let the truth start to come through, but not so long that you get stuck. So altogether, it's about 25 minutes of writing, and I'll guide you through each one, and you'll have full permission to follow the prompt, or if your mind takes you somewhere else, follow that. There's no wrong way to do this. And before we begin, I'll go over a few reminders about safety and how to hold yourself in this process. So you never have to share what you write. This is for you. And there are no wrong words. Spelling, grammar, even legibility don't matter. Rage can be messy, jagged, raw, and that's okay. If you feel overwhelmed, you can pause, take a deep breath, or even just write one word over and over until you're ready to continue. Your pace is perfect. So some of you will write quickly, some will write slowly. There's no right or wrong way. And just remember, the page can hold it. Rage is energy, and I want to normalize rage. Putting it on paper means you don't have to carry it anymore. So let yourself go there, knowing you're safe, knowing you're in control, and knowing that you can start anytime. Right, now that we've set the container, let's begin. One, roots of rage. Choose your doorway past your present. Begin where it feels right. So rage has many roots. Sometimes it comes from long ago, sometimes from what's happening right now. For our first writing, I want to give you 2 doorways in. Choose the one that feels right for you today. There's no right or wrong place to begin. Both will take you where you need to go. So past, what from your childhood, family, school, or early life still makes you angry when you think about it today? And present, what in your life right now makes you angry but has nowhere safe to go? I'm going to start some music and I'll see you in about 5 minutes. Welcome back. Take a breath. However you choose to begin, whether in the past or the present, you've just, excuse me, you've just given rage a voice. Just realized I forgot to lead us all in a few deep breaths before we start writing. So let's do that now. Let's take 2 deep breaths. Deep breath in for 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more breath. Inhale for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Awesome. Now, so many of us swallow our words to keep others comfortable or to keep the peace. But then the body never forgets what we hold back. This is your chance to put those words on paper. This prompt is simple. Write the words you've swallowed to keep others comfortable. I'll see you in 5 minutes. Notice what it feels like to finally put those words somewhere. Next, we're going to allow the body itself to speak. Sometimes rage doesn't come out in words. It shows up in the body as pain, tension, exhaustion. Instead of thinking, let your body have the voice this time. So for this prompt, if your body could scream, what would it say? Let your body speak on the page, even if it comes out as scribbles, nonsense syllables, or a scream written in big letters. This is your body's voice. Don't worry about making sense. You can write one word or even nonsense syllables, but let your body be loud. Take a breath. Shake your hands if you need to. Now, let's turn to what rage often hides underneath, which is grief. They say that grief is anger's twin. Beneath rage, there's often grief about what's been taken from us. Health, freedom, opportunities, relationships. Rage is a natural response to loss, and this is your space to name it without apologies. To quote Pretty Painful Grief Letters, to let the fury out of your chest and onto a page that won't judge you for it. Because grief doesn't always cry, sometimes it burns, and your anger deserves space too. Choose the doorway that fits. If you live with chronic pain, what has pain stolen from you that you're still angry about? And if not, what has life stolen from you that you're still angry about? I'll see you in 5 minutes. Mm. You've named rage, silenced truths, the body's voice, and grief. Rage clears space, and what fills that space is your truth. Let's close with that power. So we've let rage out. Now we'll close by reclaiming something for yourself. Rage clears space. Let's write the first truth you're ready to claim back. Our final prompt is, what is the first truth you're ready to claim back for yourself? Let this be your declaration. Write it big, bold, messy or fierce. Your truth belongs to you. I will see you in 5 minutes. Take a breath. Place your hand on your heart or belly and acknowledge, I allowed myself to feel what's real. That takes courage. You've just given rage a voice on the page. So before we close this part of the workshop, I'd like you to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what did I discover about myself in this writing? What do I want to carry forward from this moment? You can jot down a few words or just simply sit with it for a moment. And so I'll give you about 30 seconds. Let's close this writing journey with empowerment. I'd like you to write one sentence now that declares your truth. It can be as simple as, my voice matters. I allowed myself to feel what's real. I am not broken. I am rising. Whatever feels true for you in this moment. This sentence will become your anchor, proof that your voice matters. And it's something you can return to anytime you need to remember your own power. So go ahead and take a minute. Take a couple minutes. So before we move forward, I would love for you to, for anyone who feels called to share their empowerment statement. You can drop it in the chat. It doesn't have to be long, just one sentence, one word, or even a feeling that you want to anchor in right now. Beautiful. Thank you for naming that. So powerful. Thank you for your courage. Amazing. Beautiful. So you showed up today and faced what's real. You moved energy that's been stuck inside, and that deserves to be honored. Before we close this writing journey, let's just pause for a moment and let your body know you're safe. Place one hand on your heart, one on your belly. Take a slow breath in and out. Let your shoulders drop. Maybe shake out your hands, your head. Say to yourself, I did this. I gave my rage a voice. I reclaimed a piece of myself today. That's powerful. You moved energy. You've honored your rage. You've reclaimed a piece of yourself. Let's celebrate that courage. So you've just experienced what happens when rage finally has a safe outlet. And if this is what you can do in just an hour, what would it mean to have ongoing guidance, deeper prompts, and a safe container to keep going. If today stirred something in you and you felt the weight of you that you've been carrying, and no, you don't want to carry it alone anymore, this is your moment. The next step is simple. Just click the link in the chat and book your enrollment call with me. On that call, you'll have space to tell your story, and together we'll explore if the Rage on the Page 6-week transformation program is the right fit for you. The spots in the founders cohort are limited, and once it's full, doors close. So if this is resonating, don't wait. This is your chance to reclaim your voice, release what your body has been holding, and finally feel like yourself again. I would be honored to walk with you. So if you're ready to release what your body's been holding on to and step into this transformation with me, click the link on the chat now. Click the link in the chat now to begin your enrollment call. Spots are limited for this founders cohort, and I would love to see you inside.